Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome to a slightly different take on a Civilization 6 game. I'm calling this a series of, kind of individual episodes. I'm calling them Civ 6 experiments. And the reason I'm going for this, and the idea, where this idea came from, is I've been watching a lot of football manager videos on YouTube. And one of the things that people do with football managers, they do what's called football manager experiments, where they do, things like, what if the worst team in the worst league in the, whatever, got $1 billion thrown at it? Could it ever win, the top championship in England or anything like that? So things like that, where you're just like, what if scenarios, or what if you put this against that and see what happens? So I decided to try that with Civilization 6 and see what I could do. This is my first take, so, there might be some hiccups here and there, but hopefully this works out to be something kind of interesting, fascinating. And, there's a dozen different ways, 100 different ways I could have done this first one. So the way this first one is, what this first one is like, who is the best scientific civilization in Civilization 6? Now, there's a whole bunch of ways I could have looked at this, and I really decided to just focus on 4 civilizations for right now. 2 that are in Rise and Fall, and 2 that are just older historical ones. You can see them right here. I have Peter, Robert the Bruce, Saladin, and Seondeok, Korea. So, why these 4? Well, Robert the Bruce and Korea were the 2 that kind of jumped out at me, that kind of inspired me to think along these lines. I definitely wanted to do a head-to-head against these 2, just anyway, to see who is the better science one. Korea is going to be the better just flat-out science, but Robert's going to have a lot of good production, which you need production to win a science victory. So, I don't know. Who is the better one? And then I decided to go ahead and throw in Arabia, who's also really good at science. And then Peter's an interesting choice. He's not necessarily really good at science himself, but he has decent production, and he has a catch-up mechanic for science where he can trade with other people who are ahead of him. And I have a feeling all 3 of these will be ahead of him for pretty much the entire game. Will he be able to use his catch-up mechanic enough to stay close enough to then also use his production to do something? I don't know. That's what this whole thing's about, trying to figure out why. All right, then you might be asking, why do you have 2 of each of these? Well, the reason I have 2 of each of these is because I didn't want one person just to end up in some really bad location, or alternatively, some really good location, and just kind of throw the whole experiment off. So I decided to enable, unenable, I should say, no duplicate leaders, uncheck that box, and allow them to have duplicate leaders. Because my thinking is, if both Scotlands get first and second place on a science victory, they're both at the top, well then maybe Scotland really is better. Maybe that just shows us that they're better, because it's 2 completely different locations. But if it's completely mixed matched and whatever, then maybe we still have to do a little bit more digging. I don't know. We'll see. So a few other settings that you can see here. I am going to put the game difficulty at Prince. The reason I'm doing it Prince is because this is not a matter of how good am I playing against these guys. If we're going to be playing this with the AI, it's AI versus AI. This is like battle royale type of stuff. And so my player character is going to be Peter, but I wanted to make sure that this Peter did not have a disadvantage against everybody else. So I put it at Prince, where all of the settings are completely equal for everybody. So that seemed like a good way to go. I'm going to go ahead and do it on standard game speed. Just, it should be fine. I probably could have gone a little bit quicker, but we'll do standard. This will be okay. I'll go ahead and leave city-states in. I don't know. I could go either way on this one. I might have to do a rematch later without city-states, but we're going to do city-states for now. Continents map, because I want there to be, some decent-sized land masses. But I'm also going to do a large map size, which is able to have up to 10 players, because I want there to be lots of space here. It's not about combat, although combat will probably be a part of it. This is about the science. Everything else is going to be default settings. And then I turned off everything except science victory and score victory. I'm leaving score victory on because I want to be able to go check some of the things like how many technologies do people have, and which I can see in other ways as well. But like maybe how many great people they have. I wouldn't be able to see that very easily without going through a list, whereas the score victory will kind of give me an idea of that kind of stuff. I'm also turning off barbarians and tribal villages. They're kind of irrelevant to what I'm going for here. But yeah, so let us get this thing going. We're actually going to cut back in as soon as I get the game loaded in. So here we go. All right, so here we are on turn 1. Here's our kind of main starting Russia up here. We're going to call this, I guess, Yellow Russia. They have a pretty interesting start. They do have a couple of things of Mercury nearby, which is going to give them a little bit of extra science. So we'll see if they can take advantage of that. The one thing they don't have is tundra. And tundra is one of the things that Russia really does get a good benefit from. So hopefully the start does not hurt them too much. Who else we got? We got, there's a couple city-states over here. Now this is literally first turn. I've went ahead and shown everything, so we don't even have cities put down yet. Here we have Korea. This is going to be Orange Korea, I guess, if you will. An interesting start for them. A lot of mountains nearby. Lots of some good hilly terrain over here as well. Look at this massive mountain terrain. Goodness. Possibly a couple good places. Like if they build their city here and they put a science district here, surrounded by mountains, plus the fact that they it's going to be away from all their other districts, put some mines around it. I don't know if the AI is smart enough to do that or not, but we'll see, because that could be an interesting science setup there. What else we got going on here? We got Arabia down here. We'll call this Yellow Arabia, I guess, for obvious reasons. Pretty close to Korea, but a lot of mountains in between us, or between them, I should say. So we'll see how they play into that. They're all on rivers, looks like. Everybody's looking good. There's a natural resource down here, some faith, food, and production. So I don't know if anybody will sneak down there and take advantage of that. We got a couple city-states thrown in here. All right, come on. Where's our other ones? Okay, here's Scotland. We got Scotland right here in the middle. They got some tobacco up here. A little bit of faith from that. Some citrus, things like that. Pretty good spot for them, actually. They don't have a lot. They got Russia up there, but really the other guys are pretty far away. But they do have a big desert down here. So don't know how that's going to play for them. We'll see what happens with that. Let's jump over here to the other continent, because I believe the other four are over here. Here is another Korea. There's our red Korea, if you will. Decent setup. Lots of good luxuries, good rivers, some good production, some good hills for their science districts, their Seowans. What else we got? We got Scotland here. Pretty close to this Korea, though. So we'll see what kind of tensions kind of boil up between these two guys. What else we got? We got here's a Russia, another Russia. I guess I'm gonna call this Orange Russia, even though it's kind of yellowish, but it's a little bit more orangey than the other yellow. He's at least close to some tundra, so maybe you can take advantage of some of that bonus that he has. He also has a natural resource down here. Gives faith in gold. We'll see how that plays into this game. And then finally, what are we looking for? There we are. The other Arabia, Blue Arabia. You got some incense down there, some faith. You got some grassland, some, let's go and turn on. I should have done this earlier. Let's turn on yield icons. Just to see some of the stuff. We'll say if there's any other signs that I'm missing. I don't think so. I think we've already seen the one science tiles over there with the mercury. But everything else over here looks pretty good. Decent start for this guy. Some desert down here that Arabia could probably take advantage of a little bit. Some incense, which seems very Arabian. Maybe. I don't know. Most of these guys are off the coast, though, which is a little interesting. So we'll see who goes to the coast. There's some culture, natural wonder over here. But yeah, not a bad start for most of these guys. Well, let's pick back up the game. We're going to go ahead and go about 50 turns into the future and see where these guys are. We'll check back in. All right, so here we are at turn 51. Looks like yellow Russia has expanded out to a second city site. They've already hooked up some mercury. So we'll see in a minute how good that is boosting up their science output a little bit. Orange Korea over here does have 2 cities, and they're actually built to build a third. So good for them. Although they did not take my advice and put their science district over here. Maybe they just didn't want to wait until they expand out to that tile. I don't know, but I feel like that would have been a much better placement. So yeah, like I said, there goes the AI, not really putting those in the best spots. We got Yellow Arabia down here, 2 cities. There actually looks like there might be, are they going to war against a city-state over here? Probably, maybe. Let's actually go ahead and leave the yield icons on. Thought it looked like they were checked, but there we go. They got a little bit of science from their iron, or maybe that's because I'm looking at this from the point of view of Russia. That might be something else. But yeah, overall, Yellow Arabia is looking pretty good. Actually, they have another settler coming down here next to this natural wonder, so that might be something for them. And then finally, on this continent, we have, where are they? Oh, right there in the middle. I was thinking that was a city-state for a second. White Scotland. 2 cities so far. Not too bad. They're getting off to a pretty decent start. I don't see any science districts. Oh, there we go. There's one right there. So a little bit of something. If we come over here, let's go check out the other continent. We have Korea over here, Red Korea. They had a couple science centers as well, but they're also putting them next to their cities. Again, it appears they really don't want to have to wait until they expand out a bit to get more tiles to put out their city sites, or their Saya ones, I should say. So, see how much of a difference that makes, them not taking full advantage of their adjacency. We're back up here with, I guess, Orange's Russia. Did not mean to do that. Sorry about that. Go ahead and close out you. Oh, go away. Go away. Oh, they're going to just do the chain of meeting everybody real quick. Sorry about that. There we go. Looks like they're doing okay. They only have 2 cities, though. But they did get Stonehenge, so maybe they can use the religion to help them out a little bit. We'll actually check the religion here in a minute as well. And then finally, Arabia down here. Actually, I'm sorry, there's Scotland. Scotland's got a pair of cities. They got some trouble over here, maybe from Russia. Is Russia coming for them? I don't know. And then we got Scotland down here, or sorry, Arabia down here. Got 2 cities. Not much else action going on. Maybe they're going after Vilnius over here. They got a couple military units running around. Let's look at... Did anybody take any good religions? I don't see anything from a religion standpoint, which is odd. Let's go and check the... Really? I did not click on you. There we go. Let's check the science tab real quick. Not that one. I want to check the overall. So overall right now, science per turn appears to be actually Scotland. 17.6 science per turn. Which is a little surprising, but he's only got 6 technologies research. I don't know which Scotland that is. It's kind of hard to see. I mean, it's not telling me which one that is from here. Once they start lighting up with later on in the game, we'll be able to see which one's which, but it's kind of hard to tell which one that is. But we do have the 2 Koreas over here that are got the most technologies at the moment, so they're not doing too bad, and I'm not too surprised about these results. I'm a little surprised that this Peter is ahead of the other Scotland, to be perfectly honest, but it is what it is. For that matter, I'm surprised that both Peters are ahead of Arabia, but maybe Arabia just doesn't have their religious stuff down to be able to get some science from that. Score-wise, let's see. Anybody got any great people? Looks like Orange Peter has gotten a great person, which is the great prophet, obviously, from his Stonehenge, and that is about it. Other than that, I think, yeah, everybody's looking like they're off to a decent start. We'll catch back up with them in about 50 turns. All right, so here we are back at turn 101. Start back off with yellow Russia up here. And looks like they've got 3 cities, but this one over here is actually starting to get some loyalty pressure from Korea. In fact, I bet if we look at the loyalty, yeah, they're starting to lose a bit of loyalty. Well, I got to be careful with that for sure. Speaking of Korea, they're doing pretty good for themselves. Still not doing such a good job with their science district placement, but I guess it is what it is. I mean, if you guess in their minds, it's better to get that science district out sooner as opposed to really scooting it out another tile to maximize its benefits. So, I could see both ways. I could see where, sure, I could scoot you out one more tile and get one more adjacency, but if I'm able to get you out 10 turns sooner by putting you right next to me, maybe that's better. I guess it's not necessarily the AI being dumb, I would say, but I do think more often than not the players would have gold saved up so they can buy a tile if they don't have the growth out to that from the get-go. But we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. Looks like we have another wonder over here as well, Apadana, so that's something. Arabia down here, they're actually down to 4 cities, or up to 4 cities I should say. They're actually building the Oracle, so that's interesting. They also have the Hanging Gardens here, it looks like. So hopefully that'll help them with some growth. And they are taking advantage of this natural wonder over here. It's going to give them some faith, food, and production. We'll see how that plays into their game. Scotland here in the middle. They actually expanded out to 5 cities. It's the most I've seen so far. Doing pretty good. They're actually fairly left alone, to be perfectly honest still. I mean, there's a little bit of stuff going on, but not much. They got a lot of space for them to really expand out and grow. I think, wow, look at this. This Antioch up here is really, really exploding on the side of units over here. But yeah, looks like Scotland's doing pretty good. Let's jump back over here to the other continent. We got Red Korea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities. Okay, so they've got the most at the moment then. Doing okay. Still the same thing. All their science districts appear to be right next to their city, but I kind of get it, I guess, if you're an AI. You're going to say, I need a science district now. Here's when I want to build it. I don't have any other tile. I bet if they had a tile out here that was already expanded to, like Pyongyang over here, I bet if they'd expanded out here, they might have put it out there because they would have gone through whatever had the most adjacency. But at the time that they put this thing out, that was not an option. So, it is what it is. Actually, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got 7 cities. I didn't see that one down there. Very, very explosive up there. All right. We got Arabia over here. They got 1, 2, 3, 4 cities. Looks like they're going after Granada over here with all their military units. We'll see what that happens, what that does for them. Apparently, Scotland's moving his merchant around to do some exploration. Good for him, I suppose. Speaking of Scotland, he's only got 3 cities here in the middle. A little bit of a late bloomer compared to his neighbors, but we'll see what happens. And Russia even up here has 4 cities from already. Got some horsemen running around. But yeah, let's see. Let's check the religion stuff. Got a couple religions out. We got Eastern Orthodoxy, which will allow the construction of Watts. Who has this? This is, why am I not seeing who has this? Russia. Russia has this one, which is this guy right here. So he's going to have some pretty good science coming from those Watts. So we'll see how that helps him in the later game. Catholicism, actually here, Scotland. Does it tell us which Scotland that is? It's probably going to, we'll have to see which one. It's not this one, because he's actually got Orthodoxy. So this Scotland over here has that religion, has the Catholicism, and he's going to get production from that. So those meeting houses, that production could really help him out a lot. Islam here for Arabia, which is this Arabia, it looks like. So we'll see how that helps him out. I mean, it's not really necessarily great for science side of things, but maybe you can combine that into something later on. And I guess the Russia that we're playing as has Gurdwaras, which gives us food. So I don't know. Food may not be the best bet for her, but that might have been all that was available when he got up there. Other than that, let's check great people real quick. Most great people right now, we got Korea up here at 10, Peter at 10, Robert at 15. So everybody's gotten some great people already, it looks like. Except for Saladin down here. So which great people are we getting so far? Previously recruited. Let's see if we can see scientists. So both Korea's got a scientist, and then White Scotland got a scientist, so that's good to see. Actually, Red Korea got another scientist here. White Scotland got another scientist, and then Green Scotland got a scientist. So both Scotlands have gotten at least a scientist. Both Koreas have gotten a scientist, and that's about it. Interesting. And then we'll double check the overall here. We got 18 techs for this Korea, 18 for this Robert the Bruce. Again, we don't know which ones these are. I wish it would show us a little bit better what those are, but that's okay. 17 here for Korea. So both Koreas are in the top 3. That tells you something. They're getting a lot of upfront science, and they're actually 65 science for this one, 40 for that one. It appears they are in the number 1, number 2 slots for overall science, as well as the top 3 for techs. This Robert, though, is still hanging in there. The other Robert, not as good. Not as good. He's there. And then the Arabians. And, of course, the Russians. I expected them to be last. That's the whole point. They're going to be last, but they're going to be gaining science from people being ahead of them. And we'll see if that's something they can turn into something towards the end. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump another 50 turns into the future and see where everybody is at then. Oh, one thing before I do that. I did notice over here when I was kind of scrolling around, there's a really good coastal science thing over here. We'll see if anybody ever comes over here and takes advantage of this. A lot of good science here. Don't know. We'll see if somebody jumps over there, somebody finds it or not. All right, here we go. All right, so here we are at turn 151. Start back up here at Russia again. Only 2 cities. He did lose this one over here to loyalty. So it really appears to be hurting him quite a bit. I have a feeling he is going to be in a lot of trouble going forward. He really needs to get another city out somewhere if he's going to have any chance at all. And I'm kind of starting to think he's going to be struggling for the rest of the game at this point. He does have a couple wonders, though. Got Temple of Artemis here and the pyramids. Oh, as well as Jebel Bakal over here, which, I mean, it's cool, I guess, but not really going to help him for the science side of things. Orange Korea down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cities now, especially since he loyalty flipped Vologda over here. So yeah, that's a pretty good start for him. Again, all the science districts appear to be right next to his city. Looks like he's building Is that Petra? Yes, that is Petra. So he's building Petra, see if he can make that happen or not. Arabia down here. Oh, wow. Orange Korea is really going after Arabia down here right now. They're actually at war, apparently. We'll see what... We'll have to check back here in a few turns and see what how that city flips over. But overall, what is this scientist doing? I guess he's using it for exploration, which is fascinating to me. But unless this is one of the ones where he's trying to find a good mountain set up to get some boost. I can't remember which one this one is. Will it tell us if we click on him? No. No, it's going to do that. That's fine. Go away. Go away. We already met all you people. Yeah, we met you all. We're good. We're good. Go away. All right. Nothing really amazing. He did finish the Oracle. I think he was building that last time. So that's good to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 cities. Yeah, that's right. Overall, not too bad. What's he building over here? He's building the Kotoku Inn. Actually, I'm not familiar with that one. Over here, White Scotland. Oh, he's really starting to explode. 7 cities now. Lots of space for him to expand to as well. He's really got a lot of this half of this continent to himself at the moment. Really good to see that going on. Maybe he's using some of that production bonus that he has. He's actually another settler coming out as well. Maybe he's using that production bonus to in his favor. I don't know. We'll see. He's actually about to expand over into some mercury in a couple places. He's got some there to be able to get some science coming in from those as well. On the other continent, Purple Korea was really exploding earlier. Red Korea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cities. Wow, he's really growing big time. This entire, almost third of the continent is entirely his. He's left the other 2/3 for 3 other civs to fight over. Overall, it's got a good, strong military, doing pretty good there. Again, all of his science centers are right next to his city, so it's just that, get it down quick as opposed to waiting for those longer, further out hill tiles, I guess. And we got 5 Russian cities over here, but not too bad. He's off to a decent start. And then we got Green Scotland, not doing as well, but he's also smack dab in the middle of everybody. I feel like he could have expanded out east, maybe. Really pushed out to this area. Possibly pushed out to this natural wonder that we'd like to see somebody grab at some point. But overall, he's not doing bad. He's not doing quite as well as his brother in arms on the other continent. And then we got 5 cities down here for Arabia, which I wouldn't say the greatest cities in the world, but he's doing okay. Does he have any wonders? Is this, yeah, the Great Library there. So he actually got the Great Library. Nice. And he's also building Petra. So we'll see which one of those guys gets the Petra as well. Overall, did we get any more science? I think we only have, oh, actually, we did get more science. There's 6 total religions, so 2 people did not get any. We've already checked a couple of these. I don't think any of these other ones are going to be, especially amazing. Some amenities here for the other Scotland. That's going to be good for him. Getting those amenities coming in is going to be really, really beneficial. And that's going to be, that's this Scotland right here. We'll see if he can spend that into some extra happy people for that extra production, extra science. Yeah, overall, pretty good. And then last but not least, let's check the scores here. We'll look at the science stuff. Still Korea in first place. 140 science per turn. Wow, she is double the next highest person in just pure raw science per turn. The next highest person being the other Korea. Not too surprised. That's what the whole thing about Korea is. They're going to jump out really big time on that science. But surprisingly, Scotland is second place with a number of technologies, even though he's got a little bit less science than other Korea over here. I'm guessing this is Red Korea. I'm just going to take a wild guess that it has to be Red Korea, right? So many cities. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. Overall, though, both Russias are in the last place. Again, I'm not surprised. Their whole thing is to really kind of grow from the other guys. Arabia is kind of mixing his way in there. He's not really dominating anything, but he is ahead of the other Scotland, so that is a thing. But yeah, looks like everybody's off to a pretty good start. We'll check back in here in about another 50 turns. All right, here we are looking back at Yellow Russia, and as you can see, the map is a lot brighter right now because they're in the middle of a golden age. I've not been really paying attention to the golden age so far. It's kind of hard to see that in some of the places where I'm stopping, but I guess I could probably check in here and see where some of these guys are at for the rest of these turns. Currently we have Red Korea, Blue Arabia, and White Scotland with golden ages. We have over here, are these heroic ages? So orange Russia and green Scotland looks like they might be heroic ages. Can't see that symbol, so I'm assuming that's an heroic age. And then we got a couple normal ages here for the other two, Arabia and Korea. So, what have we missed? A lot of stuff looks like it's happened in the last 50 turns. We're up to turn 201. I see a lot more stuff going on the map right now. We're up to 5 cities for Yellow Russia here, so he's starting to get back into the game. Maybe too little too late? I don't know. I really feel like if he had been able to hold on to this city, maybe it wouldn't have thrown him off as much and he would have really been able to grow a lot more. I don't know. Don't know. We'll see. Purple, or sorry, red. Goodness, colors are hard. Orange Korea here is doing pretty good, I think. I think they're really got a strong presence at the moment. Lots of good cities. They were going for Arabian city down here. I thought it was Armage. Was it Aden? I can't remember, but it looks like they did not get it, no matter which one it was. So that looks like they got pushed back by Arabia there. It looks like Arabia's got their Mamluks out now, so Korea needs to be a little careful now. I don't see any of the Korean unique... oh, there. I was going to say there's got to be one at least. There we go. We got one unique unit. They have like no military right now. Now's a good time for anybody to stack on them and blow them up. Other than that, yellow Arabia down here doing pretty good. I don't see any good... Oh, there's a wonder right there getting built, the Potala Palace. Not too bad, not too bad. What about white Scotland? These are the guys I think are the forerunners, the guys that are going to probably win this whole thing. To be perfectly honest, they've got such a good start. It's either them or Red Korea right now. They're just both off to a really strong start. Looks like he went for warrior monks. Good for him. He's got a lot of them. I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything with those, but we'll see. Overall, though, pretty strong start. He's also taking out Hong Kong down here, using some of those new pike and shot units. Not too bad, though. We scan over here to Red Korea. Really, I think it's either them or Scotland. They may be the front runners, actually, now that I think about it, because of how much science they're putting out. Oh, no, stop doing that. I promise I'm not hitting you on purpose. Come on. So Red Korea over here is... I mean, they're having the most science, but this Scotland is hanging with them. Hanging with them close. It's got to be them in the second place. It's got to be. Overall, though, not too bad. Lots of good science spots. Again, everything's next to the city, though. Oh, here's the first one we've seen that's actually in a halfway decent spot. Look at that. 4 adjacency, whereas these guys up here only get, what, 2? Yep. So that's the thing. Korea just isn't able to take advantage of that extra adjacency like they should. So I think if you're playing as Korea, you're still going to be pretty strong. If you're playing against Korea, especially if they're a computer player, that is, you might not have to worry about quite as much about that science because they're not able to take quite as full advantage of that science as they should. We got green Scotland here in the middle. Pretty solid little just clump of cities. I mean, I think he's going to be in a pretty good spot. I don't know if he's like a front runner at the moment, but pretty solid spot. It looks like he did finish up the... I don't know if he's constructing the Great Zimbabwe right now. We got Russia up here. Another good chunk of cities, just really, you know, good, tight together. That's about all he's got. Oh, he's got another one down here. It looks like he might be... If he gets another settler over here, he might be the first one to be able to take advantage of this good science natural wonder over here. So he does have an extra city, though. He's got to be careful about that loyalty, though, which I can see... Okay, no, that's the original. Never mind, I was looking at the wrong thing. He just still has to be careful. And then we got Arabia down here. Arabia's got a lot of units on the map, but... I don't know. Don't really see how much else going on. He doesn't have any of his Mamluks at the moment. Oh, there's one right there. So... I don't... Well, we'll see. Let's, what do we want to look at? Let's go check out where everybody's at science-wise. Actually, Robert the Bruce. And again, I have to assume this is the white Robert the Bruce just because of how many cities he got. How advanced he looks. I could be wrong. It could be the green one. I wish it was, like I said, I wish there was an easier way to see which one this was. I click on him or something like that, but that's okay. Did that click on it? No, okay. I thought maybe there was a way to click on that. I think that clicked on maybe the city behind me or something. Overall, though, 37 technologies research, which is in the lead, and then he's got 149 science per turn, which is still way less than Korea is giving out. But he's able to get more technologies, presumably because, what is it? The more cities you got, the more expensive the technologies are. Is that how that works still? Pretty sure that's the way it works. Or is it no, it's the cities, right? The cities or population or something like that. I honestly don't remember. But I know that the bigger your civilization grows, the more expensive technologies you get, for sure. So that may be what's hurting Korea right here. She's got so many cities that even though she's got a lot more science, either that or she's just beelining for some very specific, very expensive science technologies. So that may be it as well. Arabia's jumped up here into 3rd place, though. That's a little bit of a surprising move. To see Arabia jump up ahead of the other Korea. But then it's still both Russia's in last place. Again, I'm not surprised. It's not about who's going to get the most technologies the quickest. It's about who's going to finish the space race first. So we'll see that in a little bit. Overall score-wise, oh, here we go. This is the best way to see who's who. That's what I should have done before. So yeah, Robert the Bruce up here. White Robert, definitely in the lead. Then Red Korea, followed by... Technically, score-wise, both Peters are ahead in the score. But from a technology standpoint, it appears to be Blue Saladin, who's actually lowest in score, who has the next most technologies. Interesting. So this is Blue Saladin. Fascinating. Well, I think we'll go ahead and put a cut in this episode here. When we come back, we'll pick back up, see where these guys are for the next, probably, hopefully we can get another couple hundred turns, and we might be able to finish the game. I'm not sure. It depends on how it lines up. I may start doing 25 turn increments here towards the, in a little bit. So we may need 2 more episodes before we get to the end of this game. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this. It's something that was fascinating to me to really see how these guys play against each other, play with each other, who can really jump out ahead, kind of see how these NPCs really, or the computer characters really play themselves. How does Korea play, put the science centers and things like that? And, does the fact that they put them right next to the city, is it going to hurt them? I think it's hurting them a little bit, but is it going to hurt them so much that they can't actually come out on top with the science victory? I don't know. They're still producing a whole lot of science. So yeah, again, if you like this, please, please, please give me a thumbs up so I know I can keep doing these. My plan is to do some more of the science stuff. Obviously, continue this episode, or this series, I should say. And then probably do some domination ones, some other kind of cool ones as well. If you've got an idea for an experiment you'd like to see me do, please give me a comment, and I'll see if I can fit that in, because I'm really kind of fascinated by this type of interaction and see what comes up here. So again, please let me know if you like these. I do appreciate you watching, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you, and goodbye.